Hey, what's up, everybody? My name's Greg. Welcome to the channel, greg.thunderwizard.com. If you're interested in getting a Thunder Astrology reading or a 12 house reading, and it's still 25% off. So, today I wanted to talk about some more channeled teachings, shamanic universal truths about reality that are reflected in the lyrics of a rock group from the 70s entitled Black Sabbath. This is from their album, I believe it was 1975. I don't know, I'm not sure. That came out, the album Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and the song called A National Acrobat. So I wanted to read some of those lyrics and talk about the way I see these lyrics nowadays, now that I've gone on this Thunder Wizard path and I've really awoken to a lot of shamanic truths myself. So first of all, that title, a national acrobat. National means relating to a country, or it's a like characteristic of a whole nation. So I kind of see this as kind of like the mindset of a whole country. An acrobat, acrobat is like someone doing flips and all kinds of spectacular gymnastic stunts and all that kind of stuff. So basically, that title is like someone who's not conforming to the mindset of a nation. But nowadays, I see it more as like the world, the mindset of the world. It's locked in a certain kind of way of being. There's a conformity that goes on where you're not supposed to question anything. So this is like a national acrobat. This is someone who's out there doing the abnormal. He's doing flips and he's doing everything different from the whole society. So these are the lyrics. I am the world that finds the universal secret of all time. So he's talking about, I just discovered something. I'm discovering something about reality. Destruction of the empty spaces is my one and only crime. So that to me is like, when you look into society, once you start waking up and realizing the eternity of yourself, and you can get into this state where when you're barely waking up, you're going out into society and you see people as kind of being empty. Like they're heartless. I've had those thoughts before. Like, is that person a real human being? Am I in a real reality? This is weird. This is strange. So this whole destruction of the empty spaces. He's like kind of destroying that dead feeling inside that we're raised to live in, and that's his one and only crime. Because when you do that, you start waking up. People kind of look at you and start judging you. They're like, what's up with him? What's going on? You know, this, that's it. Okay, so here we go. I've lived 1,000 times. I found out what it means to be believed. The thoughts and images, the unborn child that never was conceived. So he's this is awareness of being alive, having many different lives. The soul is eternal. The thoughts and images, the unborn child that never was conceived. So he's having these memories of past lives. He's having these flashbacks, these visual memories. This is what he's saying when the unborn child that never was conceived. We're not trained to wake up to these thoughts, to these feelings. This is never something that's never conceived in our reality. Not for the majority of the society. When little worlds collide, I'm trapped inside my embryonic cell. So that's the same kind of thing, when he's discovering all of these different things going on in his mind. When you start doing that, you can feel that the fact that your soul is kind of trapped. He's saying trapped. You feel like you're trapped inside this body. The soul is just in a holding cell. This physical body is just a holding cell. That's all it is. And he's feeling all of these different clashes in his mind that are going on. And blackened memories are cast into the never-ending well. So that right there is talking about those unresolved issues, those unresolved, unconscious things that are going on. They are cast into the never-ending well. So that well doesn't have a bottom. So that never-ending well, I see that as going into the underworld, going into the hellhome. And that's where we go once we live this life, and we start looking at our unresolved emotions, things we haven't balanced in our lives. We start realizing, oh man, all of this stuff, I didn't figure it out this time in this life. Okay, and then The name that scorns the face, the child that never sees the cause of man. The deathly darkness that belies the fate of those who never ran. So this is something that the name that scorns the face, the child that never sees the cause of man. When we're being feeling like a victim in society, we're being scorned, we're being labeled in this world, and we start to believe it. We start feeling like a victim, and we never really see the cause of man, the whole that mindset, that destruction that goes on in the world. We're not going to figure out what's the problem here. Why is everybody dead? And the deathly darkness that belies the fate of those who never ran. When people are caught up in that state of mind, they really fear death. They live from their fear. They react from their fear. And those who never ran, that the deathly darkness that belies the fate of those who never ran, those who never get away from that state of mind, they feel that they're afraid to die. They're a lot of people on their deathbeds, they get like that. They start regretting their life, or now all of a sudden they're turning to God and all of that. Right when death is coming, they don't have that connection to their soul. It's just another life. It's a transition. Then he says, "You got to believe me. I'm talking to you. Well, I know it's hard for you to know the reason why, and I know you'll understand more when it's time to die." So just like I was saying, once you get close to death, you start to wake up. And people who have these near-death experiences, they have their whole life flash before their eyes. And when they make it and they survive, they all of a sudden now they're really living life to the fullest. They're totally woken up, or some kind of a talent awakens in them. Now they're some kind of a painter or a musician, or something happens. Something gets triggered in them, and they wake up and they realize, live every day like the last. You never know when death is coming. Enjoy your time while you're here. Don't believe the life you have will be the only one. You have to let your body sleep to let your soul live on. So, he's talking about don't fear death, don't believe that this is your only life. That's what a lot of these mainstream religions talk about, They really scare you into death. It's strange, I feel that this whole contradictions, people who are Christians or Catholics, they do have a fear of death, and yet in those religions they talk about heaven too. But they're really not living according to those religions. They're not living according to those institutional rules. So that's what's going on there. Again, he says right here, "I want you to listen. I'm trying to get through. Love has given life to you, and now it's your concern." So you're responsible for your own life. Now that you've been born, it's up to you to do whatever you want. "Unseen eye of inner light will make your soul return." So that's your infinite soul. Once you leave a body and you realize all of the things you didn't do in that life, all the things that you programmed yourself to do, then you're going to want to make your soul return. You're going to come back. It's up to you. You're going to make the decision, though. "Still I look, but not to touch. The seeds of life are sown." So whatever your karma is, it is what it is. It's up to us to really balance it out, to live it out, that we got to do it. There's no other choice. "Curtain of the future pulls, the secret stays unknown." So that's being in the body, being in the physical body. When we get to these realizations that the present moment is really all that exists, that the future is uncertain, at the same time that it kind of is, there's different parallel realities that we can choose from. We're always at a crossroads in the present moment. We can always affect change in our life. We could jump timelines, shift parallel realities. "Just remember, love is life and hate is living death." So that's another, once you start waking up and you get to those states of mind where you look out into society and people look like they have no love in their hearts. They look dead. They feel dead. They're like he says, their hate is living death. People seem like walking zombies in this world. They're totally asleep. They don't know what's up. They don't know what really life is really about. They're stuffing down their emotions into their unconscious. They're making it worse for themselves. "Treat your life for what it's worth and live for every breath." Self-explanatory. Looking back, I lived and learned, but now I'm wondering. Here I wait and only guess what this next life will bring. So when you're in the physical body, you still have those feelings about, what's really going on here, what's going to happen when I leave. You can still have those doubts, what's the next thing that's going to happen once I leave this body. Even though I know that I'm going to live on, that this soul inside me still goes on, I still have this, this, is it really true, What will this next life bring? But once you leave the body and you go and you're exit and you're just truly connected to your soul, you'll really have a instantaneous speed of light, knowing about what's up in your life, what you got to do. You know, some people just, it takes more time than others. That like when the Thunder Wizard talks about the hell home, some people manifest that description of hell in the Christian religions. Where they wanna, they manifest that endless torture. For however long they have to feel it, Mother Hella is gonna let them feel it for until they're ready to go. And then once they're ready, they'll wake up and they'll realize, yeah, I gotta go back. I gotta go back down there to that planet, and I still gotta learn these lessons of the human incarnation to wake up, so I can move on to that next level. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. It's just really amazing how these musicians from back in the day really woken up to these shamanic truths. This was I believe it was written by the bass player of Black Sabbath, Geezer Butler, and then Ozzy Osbourne sang it. But he really put that feel into the way he sang it. So I just wanted to talk about that and talk about living life to your fullest, and don't be afraid of death, and use death as an advisor. Make death your friend. Know that every day could be your last, so you want to live it to your fullest. You want to be exactly who you are. You want to bring your personal destiny into this life, your true soul into this life, and don't let nobody stop you. You always want to realize other people that are judging you or whatever, they're in more fear than you. They are projecting their own fears onto you, and they're distracting themselves with those thoughts. Just have some kind of a outwardly or inwardly compassion for them, and just know that they're gonna eventually evolve on that road too that you're on. And whatever happens to you, negative or positive, especially negative, you can always use that as a teacher in your life. Use it to teach you something about not being negative. I don't want to be like that. Now I can use that to push me forward into the positive. So that's all I wanted to say. If anybody's interested in getting those Thunder Astrology readings, 12-house readings, go to greg.thunderwizard.com. And I hope you guys have a good one. Peace. Sabbath.